All right, so we're going to get started. Let me just turn on my little speaker here real quick. Okay. All right, so tonight is kind of special. I only invited patients. So the people that are seeing the recording, some of them are patients, some of them are not. If they're patients, they just didn't come, so they only get to benefit from the prizes. So what we're going to do is we're only going to record the actual presentation because it's relevant to everybody. Then we'll shut the video off, and then we're going to do some giveaways. I have some nice giveaways for everybody tonight. One of the things I ordered, the delivery was delayed, so I'll give you an IOU, whoever wins it, but it's a nice prize. But you'll have to get it at a later date, like Thursday or Friday, because good old Amazon lied and said, "Oh, we're sorry, your shipment is delayed," so we didn't get our prime order. So tonight we're going to talk about how to have a happy, healthy holiday. So just some basic tips and tricks for holiday. They are doing some wall cleaning, as you probably saw out there. So it's really stinks of chemicals, and my voice is already going because of that, because I'm super sensitive to that kind of crap. So bear with me. I'm going to grab a handout so I can kind of follow along. So grab a pen if you want, but the slides pretty much follow the handout. This is just a really basic talk. Just trying to get some information to you about how to stay healthy. This season has been really bad so far with illness. This is probably the worst season so far that I've seen as a practitioner with people being sick. Patients who are coming in sick, some being exposed to certain chemicals and coming in with like chemical sickness. And then, flu viruses. The flu is really bad this year. So the CDC came out and said that the flu vaccine was only about 10% effective, which is a shocker, right? Yeah. That's what they say every year. Oh, oops, we messed up again this year. The flu vaccine, yet again, was not effective. So I'm just so used to that. I always tell people, don't even bother with your flu shot because it's not going to be effective. Get yourself some elderberry, get yourself some of those type of things, and you can stay healthy that way. So we're going to talk about how to have a happy, healthy holiday. Maybe.
Why is elderberry so good?
Elderberry is really cool because it actually stops viruses from replicating. So, doesn't want to work for me. So when you take it, it shortens the duration of a cold or flu. And if you Google how elderberry works, if you Google it and you go to like PubMed or one of the medical journal sites, there's actually published medical journal articles that show, have proven the effectiveness of elderberry and how it can stop the replication of viruses. So it can prevent, because if you get exposed to the virus, this will work for me, then it doesn't, this is going to be a pain in my neck, isn't it? It doesn't allow the virus to replicate, so once it gets your system, it actually boosts your immune system so that your body can fight it off. If you already have it, it can shorten the duration, which is really good. I don't know why this isn't working for me. Okay. I don't know if you can see it. We might not be able to use the PowerPoint, and it's okay if we can't because it's on here, that's a good thing. I don't know why it's doing this to me today. Mercury is in retrograde, people. All technology hates me right now.
It's because your brain's fogged because of that smell.
Oh my gosh, yeah, maybe that's glitching because of that. Oh, there it goes. Did it go? Yay! Okay, good. All right, good. Okay, so let's talk first about the exercise portion of our program. So keep moving. So walking is... This time of year, no one really feels like exercising. 2 weeks from now, everyone will feel like it, right? The January 1st, you go after the new year, that everyone's like, oh, now I want to exercise because it's the new year and I want to get in shape. When it's cold like this, it's not, by the time you get out of work or whatever, it's not light out anymore. You don't really feel like exercising. So just walking up and down the steps, walking up and down the steps, or doing the little light exercises are fine. Walking around your building. If you can get outside and walk, that's great. And is anyone else's eyes burning? My eyes are on fire.
That's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Can you open your windows?
I wish. We could break one and just say a little kiss. kid threw a baseball at my window. So walking, light strengthening exercises, yoga, and Pilates. So there's a little Pilates studio that just opened up down the hall. So tomorrow, I'm going to go out there and check it out. So I made an appointment with her tomorrow. It's right across from the elevator. When you get out of the elevator, she's right there. Her name's Donna. She's really super nice. So I'm going to go over there tomorrow. And can you grab me her business card real quick? I wanted to do a little plug for her. Yeah, I think it's right on the counter over there.
That's Pilates.
Pilates. She's Pilates and
Kinesis.
Kinesis.
I do that.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah.
Use a machine, or you can use it just on a stool. It's like stretching, like a Pilates machine, somewhat, but not really.
I had the reformer.
Yes.
Come on in. There's a handout right there.
I can't talk because of this smell, but it's almost
okay,
like
me too.
you're
It's like
using
burning
stress.
my
I know, it's crazy.
I know. It's
How those
amazing
guys
how
like-
chemical.
How are those guys not sick?
I don't know. I'm
So
gonna
used
call
to-
I'm gonna call tomorrow and complain because they can't do that to me. It's not fair.
Cancer later.
Yeah, exactly. My lungs are hurting right now. So walking, light strength, and exercises. So when I exercise, I have a confession. I don't like to exercise. I know it's really bad, but I really don't like to do it. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to be sore. I'd rather ride my horse. I'd rather work around the barn. I'd rather muck 5 stalls than do an exercise routine. I do like yoga and Pilates just because it's easy. It's not, not easy, but I don't have to sweat a lot. And I don't mind walking, but movement is important for your body. It keeps your cardiovascular system going, it keeps the blood flowing, and it keeps your immune system healthy. The problem is that if you are someone who has adrenal issues or thyroid issues, or you have health issues that weaken your body, exercise can actually weaken your immune system when done too much. So overdoing cardiovascular exercise can actually deplete your system, and people will end up getting sick. So an example of this is when we do our 21-day detoxes 4 times a year, whenever we do those, if people do those and they do the vegetarian version where they go off of all meats and for the first 10 days, and then they try to exercise on top of that, they end up getting sick 100% of the time because the body starts releasing all these toxins and they end up getting sick. So you have to exercise in a manner that's not going to tax your system, especially if you have adrenal fatigue. So doing things like Insanity or P90X for 90 straight minutes when you're at this high intensity, if your body's not healthy, is actually detrimental and you take a really long time to recover. And I definitely don't recommend exercising in that intensity 7 days a week. You have to take a break. So I have some patients that come in and tell me, I exercise 7 days a week. Don't exercise 7 days a week. You have to take a day of stretching, take a day of rest or something, because it's not going to be healthy for your body to exercise to that extent. If you're just taking a walk around the block, yeah, you can do that 7 days a week. But sometimes they're doing like an hour, 2-hour exercises 7 days a week, and their bodies plateau, like the weight plateaus, everything, like their body just kind of goes into like a mode. So just have to be careful. But it does help your body in the winter if you stay moving, try to stay toned and healthy, at least somewhat. Okay, this is my favorite one. Boost your immune system. Don't eat sugar. Sugar depletes your immune system for at least 4 hours after eating it. So when you ingest sugar for 4 hours, you are susceptible to whatever germs come your way. So the same goes for alcohol. So if you drink alcohol, the same thing applies. You're going to get that 4 to 5 hour window of lowered immune system, which is something you don't want to do this time of year, especially with all the viruses and bacteria floating around. So it's a bad flu season. It's also stomach bugs. Were you talking about stomach bugs? Yeah, stomach bugs are really bad. A couple years ago, there was that norovirus that went around, that like horrible stomach virus. The weather has been weird, and that's a problem. So it's not getting really cold, right? It's kind of like doing this number on us. Today was what? I was on outside. What was it today? 60? Oh man, I'm jealous. You guys went outside. Oh, I missed it. I've been here since 8:15 this morning.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I missed the whole thing. I didn't go out once. So that stinks. But anyway, c'est la vie. It's my life. So don't eat sugar. Even natural sugars deplete the immune system. It's the same. It doesn't matter. So if you are eating natural sugars, it's the same. You're going to get the same effect. So really try to minimize your sugar. I always tell people if you can do 5 grams or less per serving, if you can do no more than 20 to 25 grams of added sugar in your day, that is a good rule of thumb of keeping your sugar intake down. Sometimes it's not avoidable because sometimes if you're having something from a package, which I don't recommend anyway, there's going to be sugar in it. Even some crackers have sugar in it. So you really just have to be a really diligent label reader and figure out what's going on with your food.
Does that
and just do your
include
best.
like fruit, like sugar-ridden fruit?
Not always. So fruit, depending on the health status of someone, I may pull out fruit or recommend less fruit. So maybe 1 to 2 servings of fruit a day, and a serving is like a small, small handful.
Okay.
Just because that does, can spike things as well. But if you're generally a healthy person, then the fruit isn't as big of a deal.
Okay.
But fructose can be it's fast metabolizing, so it actually metabolizes a lot faster, and it can deplete your immune system faster. So you just have to watch the intake of it. So, there's ever seen those pictures on Facebook of it says nature's Skittles or nature's candy. It's a big bowl of all these different colors of fruit. A lot of those fruits are like the high glycemic fruits anyway, like the kiwis and stuff like that. You still have to watch your fruit intake. So I have a lot of kids on programs who eat like a ton of fruit, and they're always sick. It's because they're just they have this constant barrage of sweet all the time, and it's just too high of an amount. So you just have to watch the fruit. A good rule of thumb is also for every serving of fruit that you eat, have 2 servings of vegetables to counterbalance it. And if you eat good fats with your fruit, then that also helps to cut the sugar your body absorbs. It cuts it by about 50%. So, for example, if you have a smoothie and you have coconut oil, or you have some things in your smoothie that's fat, and you have like a cup of, say there's 15 grams of sugar from your fruit that you have, like a banana and whatever you have, it actually cuts what your body absorbs by about 50%. So, if that makes sense. So, if you have peanut butter banana or peanut butter and apple, you're cutting the sugar that your body can absorb by about 50%. So, it's actually a good thing. That's a good thing, because your body's not going to absorb as much fat. Elderberry tea, not just elderberry tea, elderberry syrup, elderberry tincture, elderberry, whatever elderberry you can have is awesome. We talked about it a couple minutes ago, but basically, because some of you aren't here yet, basically what elderberry does is it stops the replication of viruses in the system. So when you are going to get a virus, the elderberry is already in your system, and it stops that virus from getting out of control, which is awesome. Elderberry tincture or elderberry syrup, some of it's shelf stable. The stuff that I make elderberry syrup wise has to be in the refrigerator, but you can buy elderberry in the store that's more shelf stable. They make it with sugar. Spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, right? But there's also shelf stable. So we have like the Sambucas blend from Energetics, and we have I don't have any that I make. I make a really good tincture that tastes good. I make it with brandy and honey, and it's really good. It's really good, not when you're sick too. It's like you can take a shot. It's really good. But it's really pretty. So if you ever go on the Real Food Outlaws website, it's not the best quality picture because it was before I had my good camera, but there's a picture about how I make it on there, and you can see all the layers of herbs. I make it in a big half-gallon ball jar, and I layer the herbs. There's a ton of different herbs, and in a circular thing. And it's really pretty, and then you put half brandy and half honey in there, and you let it sit for like 6 weeks, and let it steep in there, and then you strain it out, and it smells amazing, and it's this beautiful like dark purple color, and it's absolutely amazing. And then there's the immunity that you can make. There's a bunch of recipes. If you go on I listed it because it's there, but realfoodoutlaws.com, a lot of the things that I talk about that you can make yourself are there. And if you don't want to make them yourself, I do have most of them available here or through my 902 Organics website for purchase. And you can get elderberry stuff. It's so popular now that you can just go. You can go to Whole Foods or Mom's Market. Mom's Market probably has more elderberry stuff. But you can get elderberry stuff pretty much anywhere now because it's so popular. Diffuse essential oils. I have some of my own favorites. I prefer doTERRA and Young Living. Those are the two. Or the other ones that are not multi-level marketing direct sales companies would be the Acacia or Plant Therapy, which is awesome. If you buy essential oils off of Amazon, be careful and make sure that it is fulfilled by the company that you're buying it from. So, for example, if you're going to Amazon and you want to buy essential oils from Plant Therapy, because they're big on Amazon right now, just make sure that it's sold by and fulfilled by Plant Therapy. That will protect you from getting a diluted oil, because third-party sellers will sometimes dump out the oil into another bottle, just put a couple drops back in, fill it up with another kind of oil, like olive oil, and then reseal it so it looks like it's because those things are easy to seal. You can get those resealers. That's been a problem, and you're spending $30 for a bottle of like 2 drops of something. And that's how they're making a lot of money doing that, when they can duplicate the label bottles and all that stuff. So it's a big racket. I have found, I personally have used doTERRA for a long time. I've used Young Living for a little while. doTERRA, when I make my products, seems to keep its potency as far as the smell a lot longer than any other essential oils, which is why I stuck with them, because I was able to actually maintain the potency of the product that I make with my pain salves and my healing salves longer. Like, they last a lot longer. So that's why I use them. The ones that I use the most would be like peppermint, eucalyptus. I use On Guard, which is like Thieves oil. Like Thieves and On Guard are very similar. They just swap out one ingredient. So Thieves has lemon as its citrus component, and On Guard has orange as a citrus component. So there's a little bit of a difference. The smell's a little bit different. And then I use Breathe. Just look for the ones, for whatever company that you're using, just look for the immune ones or the breathing ones. Hello. It's my husband. That's Ben. He's bringing me food because he knows I was shaky and hungry. So there's the On Guard, and that I use from doTERRA that has just like the Thieves, like I said, and that's for immune system. Whenever you have children or in the home, you want to watch the amount of essential oils that you diffuse. So you want to make sure that there's some new things that came out. We talked about this before. I talk about this all the time. There's some new studies that came out that are saying that some of the oils are the hot oils. I think I'm good for now. Let me check. Yeah, you want to plug it in? Can you duck under the camera? I'm filming just because you know me. I'm not filming. Whatever company you use, and I'll go back to my other point in a second, just make sure that you are looking for ones that are for the immune system or for respiratory or for like germ fighting. Like some of them will say like germ away or something. So just look, you can kind of look at the labels and see. And then if you want to make your own, then you can always just look at the ingredient list of things, and then you can always get your own blends. Things that are good for coughs are like rosemary and thyme and peppermint and eucalyptus. Those are really good for for coughs. And then if you're concerned about the safety issues with kids, just look up essential oils for kids and safety. You can look them up. There's plenty of things out there and now about kids. One of my favorite things to do is cut up some fresh lemons and get a pot of water and put it on the stove, and then just simmer the lemons in the pot, and the aroma comes out, the volatile oils come out. It's almost like diffusing essential oils, lemon essential oil, but it's really good for the lungs. It's really good for helping fevers to reduce. You can also, for fevers, you can also take sliced lemons and put them in a sock and put them on the bottom of the feet. That's helpful too for fever, for reducing, onions too, and those types of things. Rosemary is awesome for the immune system. It helps with memory too, and also thyme. Whenever anybody has any kind of sinus congestion or they have a cough that they can't seem to kick, I always recommend putting some kitchen herbs, like the ones mentioned, on the stove and simmering them, and then doing like a steam, like breathing it in, and it really helps to break things up. Drinking straight thyme tea. Now, I don't recommend drinking it in essential oil. I'd rather you just make a tea out of the actual herb from your kitchen. Put rosemary and thyme in a little bit of water, hot water, and then strain it out and then drink it like a tea. You can add a little bit of honey or something to it if you want to help if you have a sore throat. But that's really, really beneficial and fast. Like, it can help to kind of soothe things really, really well. I always recommend some standard process of MediHerb. So keep Conjuplex, which is standard process, on hand at the first sign of sickness, and herbal throat spray. I'm going to need herbal throat spray after tonight from all those chemicals that they sprayed. So, or I'll be able to talk through my shift tomorrow, which is packed. So, Conjuplex, as soon as somebody sneezes twice in my house in a row, I'm putting Conjuplex down their throat really fast. I'm like, Conjuplex, say Conjuplex. I actually take it every day because I'm here all the time, and we're seeing about 150 patients a week right now, and not quite full time, but like almost full time hours. And a lot of them, some of them are for sick visits, so I'm getting exposed every single day to so many things, and so far so good. Been pretty healthy. I think I got one little cold for a couple, like last month when I traveled, but ever since then I've been okay. But I do take a lot. Yeah, it's a supplement. It's Conjuplex. So I always keep a big bottle, and I will take like 3, and then if I start to feel sick, I take 5, and then I'll take like 2 an hour until I feel better. I also do Antronex, which isn't on here. I do Antronex because Antronex is a good drainage. It keeps things out from going through. It also keeps the liver clean, and it keeps the sinuses and the postnatal drippy type things away. And also for, it's like an antihistamine, kind of an antihistamine, so it's really good for that type of thing. And I use it for allergies, like if anybody gets hives or something.
Who makes that?
Standard Process.
What is it again?
Antronex.
Okay.
Yeah. So Contraplex and Antronex are what I use a lot for that. And the herbal throat spray, which is Mediherb, which we have, it's just like an echinacea, other herbs, very soothing to the throat. When I used to work at the chiropractic office that I worked for, they had just done build out on the new space there, and plus that and the stressful, it was kind of stressful. That plus stress and working for the first time in 13 years outside the home, I was sick the whole year pretty much. And I had used that throat spray all the time because I kept losing my voice. I'd be fine, I would get to work, and within 10 minutes my voice would be gone because of the whatever they did with the build out of all the, the new building sickness. Have you ever heard of like new building sickness? That's how it was. I always felt sick when I would go there. So I used a lot of throat spray that year. And then keep your indoor air moist. Doing the lemons on the stove or having a humidifier, which you have to watch the molds in those. Sometimes those humidifiers can collect a lot of molds, just to keep those clean. Or diffusers, the diffusers that have the water shoots out, that keeps the air moist too. So trying to keep the indoor air. Everyone gets dry skin in the winter, and everyone gets like that dry. So it's super helpful just to keep your indoor air moist. It keeps it less polluted that way too. Any questions about the immune system ones on this page? We have some more to talk about in a minute.
I have a question.
Sure.
For something that's not on here. I have a fire cider. You heard of fire cider?
Fire cider, yes.
Is that good?
Yes.
Really good immune?
Yes.
Okay.
When I go back to doing videos, I don't know if you guys have seen on the I do a lot of videos for my like at my house, like how to. So there's a herbal medicine making video that I did. If you go on our Facebook page, if you haven't been on there, and if you are a patient and you're not on the patient-only Facebook page, we have a private page too. You can just, if you want to be put on that, just put a star next to your name. We'll make sure we send you an invitation. The invitation will go straight to you from Facebook, and this is only for past or present patients. It's not for like the general public, so anybody who's watching on the video who's not a patient can't be in that group. But the regular Facebook page, it's facebook.com/NHIC South Jersey. That page has a lot of videos. If you go on that page and you click on videos, you'll see past talks that we've done, and you'll also see like an herbal medicine making video that I did, and like travel tips. I do a bunch of different like short, like 5-minute videos on different subjects, which are pretty informative on like what supplements to take with you when you go, travel, or what herbs to use for this and that. So I do those. Sometimes I do those on Sunday afternoons because I record them at my house usually, or in my office. So those have been helpful. Was that your original question? What was your question?
Fire cider.
Oh yeah, what about fire cider? Was it good?
Is it good? Is it really?
Yes, it does. It's really good because it has so much of the spicy things in it, like the horseradish. It kicks out whatever. Yeah, like the garlic and the horseradish.
I do like it, but I was curious if it really did.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's it called?
Fire cider.
Like apple cider?
Yeah. Now,
Where do you get it?
You make it.
you can make it, but you can buy it. So here's my thing with that. So fire cider. Oh my gosh, that noise. Fire cider. This is why I'm moving. I hate this building so much.
You are?
Yeah, I want to move my building because I can't stand it here anymore.
When is that happening? You're gonna be around here though.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You're not moving far.
No, my satellite's far, but I'm not. I have a satellite office moving somewhere else that I'm not mentioning on camera. But this Cherry Hill office will stay just moved into a building that doesn't make that squeaky sound.
What is that?
Maybe it's the elevator. Maybe it's haunted. I don't even know. It's still out of service. That's 2 days now.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good beginning.
So I'm going to talk to you for a second about fire cider because Mom's Market sells a brand called Shire City. Shire City, and I don't care if this is on camera or not because it really makes me mad. Shire City took a name, fire cider, that didn't belong to them. It belongs to Rosemary Gladstar. If you know who Rosemary Gladstar is, and she's like the goddess of all herbal medicine. She's like, she like made all the recipes. I started herbal medicine because of her because she's amazing. She's an elderly lady. She lives in Vermont. That's her term. She invented it. They took the term and trademarked it. So guess what? They went after her. Yeah, They went after her and told her she couldn't use that term anymore. She's the one who coined the term. So that company, that's a big loss. There's been a lawsuit for like 2 or 3 years. So we boycotted it, all the herbalists. So I'm a clinical herbalist. And all the herbalists boycotted Shire City. And anytime we see it, like we tell people, whoever we know, like don't buy Shire City because they're not very nice. So Mom's Market is selling that brand now, and I refuse to buy it. I know it's probably awesome, but I don't care because they did that to her, and she had to pay so much money. She was actually raising money to pay for the lawyer fees to try to fight this thing. Not cool. You can't take
Find out what it is though. Fire starter. Did I miss
fire
it?
cider.
Cider.
Yeah, you can look it up, and there's recipes for it. It's super easy. It's basically like horseradish and garlic and onions and apple cider vinegar.
horseradish.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's all these things you put together. You can just buy and make, and then you just let it sit, and then you can. It's
And
awesome.
you drink it,
You drink it like teaspoons of it. Yeah, like medicine, like a medicine.
and it's
really, really
for
good.
She has a
Immune
YouTube
system.
video out. That's how I found
Yeah,
out about it.
yeah. You can go if you look up Rosemary Gladstar Fire Cider. There is a video tutorial you can watch. I was planning on doing one and I didn't. Maybe I'll still do one.
fire starter. I
But
thought you were saying
Fire cider.
cider.
Yeah, and I'll definitely reference her if I do the video because she's amazing. Yes.
What was that for?
Immune system and kicking out like congestion and kicking out colds and flus and bugs of all kinds.
Okay, so a while ago you told me that I was sensitive to onions. So does that mean I have to be watching everything even like that?
Yeah. Yeah, so you would make, if you made fire cider and you're sensitive to onions, and you would make it, you would tweak the recipe and you wouldn't put the onions in.
Okay.
Yeah. So boosting your immune system continued. Is that still good? Yeah. Cataplex AC on hand for stomach bugs. Any kind of virus stuff, I like Cataplex AC because and that's a standard process product. We have it here. That is echinacea and vitamin C. It seems to work really, really good on those stomach bugs and preventing stomach bugs. So anytime one person in the house goes down with a bug, they're getting it, and then everyone else in the house is also taking it too. And it's a good preventative. You can take Cataplex AC as a preventative as well, because it's basically echinacea and vitamin C, which is okay to take. It's safe. And it's safe for everybody, kids, pregnant women, elderly. It's completely safe, so it's awesome. Antranex, we talked about this a little bit already. I forgot this slide was on here. Antranex is an antihistamine for allergic reactions and also for sinus issues. It helps with that yucky postnasal drip you get in the middle of a cold when you just can't stop the coughing, that all of a sudden you start coughing and then you can't stop, that kind of thing. I use activated charcoal for food poisoning. I used to use cold call 2 from Standard Process as well, or in a place of, but they don't make cold call 2 anymore. There was a sourcing issue with the bentonite clay that they used, so it's discontinued, so I'm super sad about that. But activated charcoal we use, it's amazing. We have it from Systemic Formulas. It's called Bind, B-I-N-D, and that's what it binds up chemicals and bad stuff in your body, and it pulls it out through the bowels. So it also pulls out, so if you do drink alcohol, for example, and you don't want it to mess your system up, then you can take 2 Bind before you go to bed, and it binds things up and takes it out so it doesn't hit your system as hard. So that's a good tip. But anytime I eat out, so I travel a lot, and I'm about to start traveling a lot more, I always take Bind with me, because eating certain things when I was super sensitive to foods, I'd always get headaches, and when I would go for my clinical training in Florida, I would get migraines all the time. I would get so sick when I was down there, and so I would just take activated charcoal with me, and then I would just take it, and that would be better. Yes.
I've taken it before just for gas, like extreme gas,
Mm-hmm.
and it works really fast, and I'll be coming out both ends, and burping it out, and
Yeah.
But so it doesn't just have to be food poisoning. It could be because I
Yeah, any kind of stomach discomfort. Yeah, any kind of stomach. It really does help to kind of settle stomach and yeah. Yeah, but you can't, and you just have to be careful because you can't take it with other supplements because it will bind the supplements up too. So you have to take it. That's why I always say just take it before bed or take it between a meal. To be 2 hours without anything around it, and that way you don't have to worry about it taking your nutrition out, taking your supplements out. Because it will do that, because it literally expands. It makes you drink a lot of water with it because it's the charcoal, and then it just expands in your body. But it works amazing. They use this for animals too. Activated charcoal. We use it for animal poisonings or those types of things.
Sarah, is there anyone who should not take that? Like if somebody has irritable bowel?
I think for most people it's okay. I haven't heard any contraindications. You just have to be careful of people on medications, because if you're on medication, like I said, it binds it up. So it would eliminate their medication. So if someone's on medication for something, it will take it away. Yeah. Increase your intake of garlic, as always. Raw garlic is awesome if you can stomach the raw garlic. Slightly sauteed, okay. Super cooked, not as effective, because you're cooking all the good stuff out of it. Also, garlic tablets. So we have garlic. We have two kinds of garlic that we sell. The one I hardly ever sell because you can real burp it up, and it's like garlic ground up and stuck in a capsule. So as soon as that capsule opens, you burp it up and it comes out your pores. So it's kind of gross. You smell like it. But then we have the MediHerbs. That's the standard process one, which is, it's fine. I always tell people, if you're married and you have to, and I put you on that, just put your spouse on it too. So that way they stink just as bad as you and no one knows the difference. It's fine. So it's fine. And then the other one is the garlic forte. It has an enteric coating on it, so when you take it, it doesn't open up until it's deep into your intestinal tract, and then it doesn't come out your pores. It doesn't burp it up, and you don't have any of those problems. So that's the one I use the most, and that's the garlic forte. But garlic is awesome. You can't take garlic if you're on blood thinners because it's a natural blood thinner, and you can't take it if you're going to have a surgery. You can't take it if you're going to have a tooth taken out. So there are some contraindications for any herb, and garlic is considered an herb. So. Questions on that? No. Echinacea Premium, Echinacea in general. Echinacea Premium is a MediHerb product, and I use that a lot for my vegetarian and vegan patients who don't want to take the Conjuplex or anything that has like animal glandulars in it. We'll do the Echinacea. Echinacea is a really good immune system modulator. So there was some thought years ago that if you took echinacea and had an autoimmune disease, or if you had elderberry and had an autoimmune disease, that it would boost your immune system and it would mess you up. But echinacea is actually an immune system modulator. It doesn't shoot your immune system up. It doesn't activate it. It just kind of modulates it. So there's no problem with autoimmune. I have people on autoimmune diseases who actually it works amazing for just getting their immune system to get back in check, even if they're not trying to fight a sickness, or just because their immune system is on such high alert, it just kind of helps to calm it down and get to where it's supposed to be. So I absolutely love it. I have it in liquid form, and we also have it in tablet form. So Echinacea is wonderful. Echinacea Premium combines some other herbs in there as well. But it's also a myth that taking Echinacea long term reduces its efficacy. That's a myth. That's not true. So you can take Echinacea long term, and it's fine. Yes?
Can I ask another thing?
Sure.
I had read somewhere a little while ago something about echinacea that if like you have stomach issues and about it, they suggested you stay away from it. Is that true?
It doesn't affect the bowels, so you can do. I mean, any herb. If you have issues, like you can take it and then you'll know if it bothers you because everybody's different. But for general purposes, it doesn't affect the bowels. Yeah. All right. So mental health tips. This time of year is hard for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. So everyone has their reasons for not liking the winter. I just don't like it in general because I'm just not a winter person. So I try to stay positive and happy about a season I dislike very much. So get some sun every day, even if it's just through sunny windows. That's pretty much all we get here because we're here all day, so we don't get the sun. And then minimize your EMF exposure, electromagnetic field. Which is all this, your computers, your electricity. There's something called a MEMON, MEMON. If you go and look up MEMON, there is a personal MEMON you can get. It looks like a Fitbit, but what it does is it actually helps to minimize your personal exposure to electromagnetic field, those types of things. I have people who have actually ultra sensitivity to electromagnetic field. They can't go to stores. They can't go to church. They can't go anywhere where there's cell phones and things that are in a group like a lot. They can actually feel it, and their bodies do this, and they have lots of issues, and they have stopped going to church. They've stopped going to stores. They have gotten the MEMON, and I put them on Super EFF, which is an essential, Linum B6 rather, Linum B6, which is essential fatty acid type of supplement, and they're able to function again because it doesn't bother them. They didn't know what it was. They thought they were going crazy for a long time because they didn't understand why they couldn't sit, and then it's almost like all this noise that they were hearing, and it was just all the staticky stuff from the. Some people are just sensitive. Most people don't notice it. You just don't notice. but some people do, and they're super sensitive. Mental health tips, herbal tea, lemon balm is the best for mental health in the winter. It's like sunshine in a teacup. So we have it. What's that?
Yeah. So it makes you relax.
It does. It chills you out. I have a hard time drinking lemon balm early in the day because it has a very relaxing effect on me, and I don't drink it during the day. I usually drink, if I drink it, it's in the evening. I don't know if I have any left, but I make a lemon balm tea that I usually sell out of pretty fast, but if anybody wants any, I can always make some. And then diffusing essential oils. The citrus essential oils are the best ones for mental health issues. The lemons and the oranges and the citrus blends, because they're very elevating. There's also lemon balm essential oil. It's Melissa officinalis, and it's very expensive, but it's very effective, and you can use a couple of drops. But regular lemon is fine. Avoid toxic chemicals, like the cleaning people in the hallway. Clean the walls today. Avoid them like the plague. Candles. This time of year, everybody wants to burn candles, right? So I can't even walk. There's one over by the Whole Foods. Bath and Body Works and Yankee Candle. They stink to high heaven. Can't stand those things. Those fragrances are very, very toxic. People are getting lung cancer who've never smoked a cigarette in their life, and when they kind of done a little backstory, they burned candles a lot. You can actually get lung cancer from burning candles. Look for soy-based candles, because you don't want to eat the soy, but you can burn the soy. It's fine. And look for wicks that don't have a lead center, because did you know that they put metal in the middle of the candle wicks? So if they're doing that and it's burning, then all that toxic metals are actually getting into the air. And then you have all those disgusting fragrances. So get essential oil, beeswax or soy candles, and essential oil scented candles, which are fine. But those chemical fragrances are really, really detrimental to health. And all the air fresheners, the plug-ins, all the Christmassy holiday scent ones, they're really bad. Did you have a question?
You said it too fast. Soy, beeswax.
Soy and beeswax candles.
Right.
You want to stay away from like the paraffin wax. And you want to look for metal-free wicks,
Right.
and scented with essential oils. And then I don't take this advice, but take a break. If you just take a break. I'm not even going to elaborate on that one. Go ahead.
How about like burning sage just to make it smell pleasant or go around
Yes.
the house? Is that okay?
Do
And
that.
it's still burning. I grow sage, so I
Yeah, do that. I just bought I run a wholesale Frontier co-op, which anybody who's a patient of mine can join. It's a wholesale buying club, Frontier. They sell the sage, the bundles.
I wrap thread around
Yes.
it and make a stick. And
Gets rid of all the bad juju in your house.
right.
You just
Yeah, it's
burn it?
cleansing.
Yeah. I make it just stick. I just walk around. And
It's called smudging. It's been used for like thousands of years. It was started by like the Native Americans. They used to do it, and it's like almost like incense, but it helps to clear the air. It actually purifies the air. Some pagan cultures use it too to do, for pagan things, but really what it's doing.
What are you trying to teach us here?
Right. No, sorry. Put the witch hat on. No, but for seriously, that you can get, you just get them, and it helps with the air purification. It really does purify the air, and it changes the ions in the air and all that. So, okay. Travel tips. If you're traveling for the holidays, or pretty much every other weekend the whole next year like I am, opt out at the airport. Don't go through the scanner. They always say, I always get the dirtiest of looks from the TSA people, because I always go and I opt out, and I say, can I get a pat down instead? And they're like, you have more radiation coming out of your cell phone than you're going to get in those scanners. Well, you can't prove that, A. And if you're constantly going through them, then the radiation accumulates in your body, right? So if you're traveling constantly, then you don't know how much your threshold is of radiation. And if I'm traveling 2 to 3 times a month and going through that scanner back and forth, I'm going through the scanner 6 to 8 times a month for the next however long. I don't know what that exposure will be. I don't have a radiation badge like my husband does. He has a radiation badge because he works around radiation. I don't have one of those, so I'd rather just opt out, just get the pat down, just get to the airport a little early. It's totally fine, and don't go through that scanner. Parotid. Take Parotid before and after your flight. Parotid helps your body to not accumulate chemicals from the exhaust from the plane. If you're ever sitting in a plane, all of a sudden you get that awful exhaust smell, and also radiation. and any other chemicals from flying through the air or from the airports or whatever. It really does help to keep your body from that exposure. So I usually take like 2 parotid before and then 2 parotid after. And then anytime I eat out, I'll take parotid and Zypan. I'll take parotid for any chemicals that might be in the food or the water with my meal. And I'll take 2 Zypan to help prevent digestive issues from like parasites, those type of things. So parotid and Zypan I take on trips all the time. Now, I don't like baths. They skeeve me out, so I do not take them. I take showers, but I do bathe, but not baths. Showers, I take showers. But if you do like to take baths, you can take a detox bath after flying. You can bring some or get some when you get to the. Usually, I don't think that. I know you have to clean the bathtub first. So if you want to, it's 2 cups of baking soda and 2 cups of Epsom salts, and you can add in some essential oils to the salts themselves if you want, and then you put it in the bathtub. You can do that at home too, but you can do detox baths anytime you want with the baking soda and Epsom salts and your essential oils. Yes.
I got another question. When you're saying something, we're trying to analyze what we're taking. Oh, I'm taking that, it must be for that. You know, we forget things by the time we get home. So if you're saying parotid is for the chemicals, is that all it's for, or is it also for other things?
It's for, we use it for metals, we use it for chemicals, we use it for mold, I use it for teeth. You're taking it for metals.
Metals, right. And it could be mold too.
Mold.
Yeah. Now that you're saying.
I can check you for mold next time you're here too. Yeah. Yes.
What essential oils would you suggest to put in a detox bath?
In a detox bath, maybe some tea tree oil. Yeah. Or some coriander, but I don't really like the smell of coriander.
That is so
lunch
strong.
smell. Oh, I know.
I want that. That is so strong.
It's really. Yeah, I like tea tree oil, lavender. You just put those things in. Pack healthy snacks. If you can. So this is not, sometimes you can pack healthy snacks if you go on a plane, but for road trips you can pack like nuts and seeds and vegetables, and you can pack a little cooler. It's harder when you're flying because everything goes through the scanner and then it gets irradiated, so then your food gets all messed up anyway. So do your best on that. Stay hydrated. So drink plenty of water before you travel. Flying can dehydrate you as well. And then just be prepared. Just always take your supplements with you. There's so many people that have come back from trips and forgot to take their supplements with them, and have come back and they're sick or didn't take the right supplements. If you're going to travel and you want to know what supplements to take, and if you aren't sure, just ask. I'm happy to share what I always take because I travel a lot, so I can give those tips to you. But I always try to I end up bringing I have my supplement case that I hardly ever use anymore. I actually just throw whatever I'm taking, I throw the whole bottle in my suitcase, the whole bottle. So I might have like 10 bottles of supplements in my suitcase because sometimes I need way more of something when I actually get to my destination. So for example, I might need like a ton of Chondroplex all of a sudden. And if I only have the 2 or 3 that are in my case, then I don't have enough. That's what happened to me the 2 times ago that I flew. I only took my cases with me, and I ended up picking up something. So if I would have had my Chondroplex bottle with me, I would have just popped them, and then I would have been fine. Any questions about the travel tips? Yes.
I came down with pneumonia from going on the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I can help somebody else, but is there anything that you can take to fight against pneumonia?
Before you get it or when you get it?
Before you get on
Before you get, yeah, I would take Chondroplex before I got on the plane. I would take, yeah. I would take 5 of them before I even got on the plane. Okay. Especially this time of year, you're sitting next to someone and you're like, oh my gosh, please do not breathe on me. And they're like, all over, and you're like, stop. Wow. Yeah. Between the perfume they're wearing and the coughing they're doing, you just want your own little airplane box. Just put me in the box, please.
Sarah,
yes.
Can you take too much of something? Like you're saying, you just
not Chondroplex. No, you can't overdose on Chondroplex. Some things you can if they have iron. So Immunoplex is one that we use for viruses too, but it has iron in it, so you can OD on that. Look, you can iron overdose. So there are some supplements, usually the ones that have the child protector locks on them, that have iron. But Caliplex AC you can't OD on. You can't OD on. It's just food. You're just gonna get high doses of therapeutic food. Whatever your body can't use, it's just gonna flush out. So for me, I know that if I take 5 Chondroplex and then 2 every hour until I feel better, then I'm good.
See, but we don't know that, like how many to be taking.
Yeah, you go away, because that's your specialty.
Yeah, so you can if you just ask, if you know you're traveling, I'll tell you. But the general rule of thumb is I usually take, I know if I'm traveling, I'm going to take 5 at once, and then I'll take 2 an hour. If I'm already feeling sick, I'll take 2 an hour. If I'm not feeling sick, I'll just take the 5 and then just leave it alone until the next day I might take 2 or 3. It's just when I sneeze twice, or if I start to feel like my throat starts to hurt, then I start. Because I use Conjuplex for serious sore throats. Strep throat too. I've used that before, and it's if you in high enough doses of that food that's in there, it can combat those really bad throat issues.
Sarah,
Yeah.
I gave my dad the tincture echinacea, elderberry. Amazing.
Yeah.
Within hours, he was a different person. He's 91.
Wow.
And then he can still take that as a prevention.
Yeah.
Right? So okay.
Yeah, you can just keep taking it. It's a good preventative.
Because it's my new favorite thing. Is
Yeah,
elderberry.
elderberry is amazing. Yeah, and most kids like it too, and even adults. Like I said, it doesn't have too bad of a taste to it, so it's pretty good. Yeah, that stuff is amazing. It's like nature's flu shot, really. I mean, it really can
You give me
prevent.
the one with brandy in it?
Yeah, I do sometimes. They like. I usually do the syrup, but yeah, they've had the tincture before. It has a sweet. I usually have to mix that with a little water because if you take that straight, it's really strong.
Yeah.
It has a really big kick to it, like just like brandy would. Okay, so practice mindful eating. Avoid foods you are sensitive to. So this time of year it's hard because a lot of people are sensitive to wheat, they're sensitive to white sugar, they're sensitive to soy, they're sensitive to corn, and there's things in the Christmas cookies and in the whatevers that you're, we're all dying right now, I know, is that, you know, mom makes a certain kind of cookie, she makes pastels, you want to eat the pastels, right? There's things that you want to eat during this time of year. Just do your best, just be conscious of the fact that you might feel not so great after you eat it, and that I can't fix that when you come in for a visit. Like, if you get sick from that, then you have to ride it out. Like, there's nothing I can do. You can take some Bind, you can take some Parad, you can take some Zypan, you can take enzyme, but you just have to eliminate the food and then you'll feel better, you know, when you come back for your visit or whatever. Increase warming food. This is not the time of year to really do, we'll do, yeah, ice cream and the cold stuff, or like freezing cold smoothies every morning because it's really makes you cold. Porridges, and they have buckwheat. Instead of cream of wheat, because most people are off wheat. Buckwheat's not wheat. You can do buckwheat porridge. Oatmeal if you're not sensitive to it, those types of things. And then lots of soups. Decrease the cold foods. Bone broth should be taken every day if possible. If you can make your own, great. If you can't, you can buy bone broth from Whole Foods or Mom's Market. It says it, organic bone broth. You can buy it now. It's not the same as chicken stock or chicken broth. It actually says bone broth. It's made from the bones. Regular chicken broth is made from the muscle meats, so it's a completely different thing. Or you can get vegetable. You can get vegetable broth too. Vegetable broth. I know some people can't have the beef. So, and there's chicken, or then there's beef. You can get both, either or. Drink liquids warm or at room temperature. Ice cold water is not the best thing. So sometimes when I get the water out of the thing over there, I'll do, because we have the hot water and the cold water, I'll just do half and half so that the water's actually warmer. And then at home, I don't drink cold water if I can help it. It's better for your digestion anyway if you drink room temperature, or warm liquids. Avoid alcohol. A little bit's not going to kill anybody, but we say that because it increases the liver problems, and also lowers your immune system. So if you're at a party and you're drinking socially, then you know that if you're in a party with all these people that have germs, then you've lowered your immune system with the sugar that you've eaten and the alcohol, and you set yourself up for problems. So if you know you're going to be in a situation like that, when you want to have a drink or you want to have a Christmas cookie, make sure you prepared your body ahead of time. Take Conjuplex before you go. Take a shot of elderberry before you go. Just be mindful of where you're going and what you're doing. That way you can kind of keep your body from getting sick. Our goal is prevention, because it's harder to recover from an illness than it is to prevent it. Prevention is the key. Eat slowly and stop just before you feel full. Which just means don't overeat your food. Only take a few bites, 3 small bite rule. So if you're cutting sugar out of your diet and you have all those desserts at grandma's or your mom's or your kids' houses, if you just take your dessert plate and then just take a little bite of each of them, just take a couple bites, and then you can you don't have to eat a whole piece of cheesecake, you just have a couple bites. Sometimes that's enough to satisfy and then walk away. For me, if I eat it at all, then I want the whole thing. So it's harder to do that. Every once in a while, I can take a bite or two. Thanksgiving, I took like a little bite, and just to make my mom happy. but I didn't eat like a whole big dessert, which it was fine. It worked out fine. I get really horrible headaches if I have any sugar. If I have sugar if I go over my threshold, which I had a headache yesterday, I ate some avocado brownies that someone made us, and there was like hardly any sugar in them, but it was enough because I had a standard process bar too. It put me over my threshold, and I ended up getting slammed with a migraine. Not cool. I hate those things. It makes me all off.
Sarah,
So, yeah.
can that happen days later? Or-
Yes, mine is usually 2 days.
Mine too.
2 days later, I am done. So I know. Yeah, you too? The 2 day thing?
I get swollen.
Do you?
Swollen
Swollen glands. I usually get vertigo and a one, it's only the side of my head. Vertigo.
I get lightheaded, vertigo.
Yeah, and it's usually for me it's 2 days. Some people get hit immediately, but me it's 2 days. And I had a little bit of sugar kind of inadvertently the day before, and then it was the culmination, so it was the 2 days, but then I had a little bit more yesterday, and so it knocked me. And it wasn't even that much. It was just I'm kind of, I guess, susceptible.
And mine's lack of sleep. Like if I don't get
Yeah.
sleep, 2 days later I'll get the migraine.
Migraine. Yeah. Phew. Yeah. It's amazing how our bodies will tell us to
So, what are
take
we
care of
doing?
ourselves, right?
Right, yeah.
What are we doing for that one, 2 days later?
Don't eat sugar 2 days before.
Right, exactly.
Get some sleep 2 days
I
before.
went to
Yeah.
that party the other night, you know?
That's why I had a headache. That's why I had the headache. I don't even know what I ate. I can't even remember what I ate. That would have. Oh, I had a Buckeye.
I had like 3 of them.
Oh, did you?
Don't
I
tell
had
Sarah.
one. Don't tell me. I had one. I'm like, oh, it's peanut butter. No, yeah, it was really sweet.
Paying
I had-
for it.
Yeah.
So wait, you're not going to tell me what to do?
Oh, don't eat it. No, Jemima. Do you have Jemima at home? Jemima for sugar and carbohydrate metabolism. I take Jemima. It's an herb. It helps your body metabolize sugars. So we do that for sugars. I stopped taking it. When I was taking it, I was much better with not getting headaches, and I could, if something happened and I had a little bit of sugar, it wasn't as bad. I stopped because it was upsetting my stomach because I don't always eat before I leave my house in the morning, and I was taking an empty stomach and it was making me really nauseous, so I kind of stopped. I need to start again because, and even like there's like hardly any sugar in the syrup. It's not even real sugar. It's like rice syrup. It's not even like white sugar in there, and even that starts to get to me. Even honey, any sugar. Fruit. I didn't eat fruit for 2 years when I had Lyme because I couldn't. It would give me a headache. I would get migraines from an apple. Horrible. So, cooking tips. Replace your flours with almond, cashew, coconut flour. If you're not paleo, you can have rice flour, oat flour. There's other gluten-free flour. Just stay away from corn as much as you can. Use stevia to sweeten. Pure stevia only. No additives. No sugar, alcohols. Well, here's it says no sugar, alcohols. A lot of people who are on programs, I noticed there's 2 sets of people. Some of them don't react to sugar alcohols like xylitol, erythritol, those types of things. Like that's in the ice cream. If you ever have the So Delicious sugar-free ice cream with like 1 gram of sugar, that has the sugar alcohols in it. Some people, they're completely fine. Some people, they get headaches and digestive upset because their body doesn't know what to do with the sugar alcohol. So it just really depends on the person. I don't want to throw them out and say they're bad because there's really nothing that says that they are, nothing that says that they're not. So it's one of those things that are new, so the jury's still out. Xylitol, we talked about this last time. You have to be careful with xylitol if you have pets though, because it's deadly to pets. So xylitol is especially to dogs. It will kill them. Yeah, it kills them.
Even if it's like in something?
Yeah, so they were having the peanut butter. They were making peanut butter with xylitol, and you know how you give your dog peanut butter jars? Well, dogs were dying, and they didn't understand why, and it's because there's xylitol. They're just licking the peanut butter out of it. Yeah, that little bit. Yeah, so for some reason their bodies can't process it. So that kind of makes me wonder. But they also can't eat chocolate either, and chocolate's pretty awesome. So.
My dog eats chocolate all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Xylitol gum actually helps my stomach.
Does it? Yeah.
Well, maybe it's the peppermint.
Yeah. It's better than hay. Xylitol gum is great for teeth health, and it's great for preventing cavities. So I'm all for the xylitol gum.
Gum.
Pure. Do you have one of those in the other room, right? Can you show it real quick? Pure PUR gum. It's from It comes in big packs, and then I just saw it, and I was snooping in your bag now, wasn't it?
Do they have this is too?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
They have this everywhere. This she got at TJ Maxx for $2.99.
They sell that anywhere? Where do they?
TJ Maxx, she got this, but Whole Foods and Miles Market has it.
Okay.
Wegmans sells xylitol gum.
Do they?
Do they?
And so does Vitamin Shop.
Yeah.
Is it pure or is it something else?
It's a different brand.
It's
So-
a brand.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know Zally is a brand that they sell at Wegmans.
Yeah.
There's like
Zally?
2 other, it's called Zally.
Z-A-L-L-Y?
It's the shop
LLI.
brand.
Yeah, and it's better than having aspartame gum, aspartame, so it's better.
Wait, say that about aspartame?
That way you avoid the aspartame
Oh,
in your
yeah, I
gum.
can't.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Sharon?
Yeah, about, Mom's had some type of fake eggnog there. I didn't see anything bad in it except the carrageenan, but I don't know. That's maybe from
Yeah.
red seaweed, but like, there's different views on that.
I think that's So Delicious might have one that doesn't have the carrageenan in it,
Okay.
the coconut milk one. You can try that one.
Instead of eggnog.
Yeah, I've heard so many mixed things about that carrageenan. Some people it really rips up their stomach. They said it's like chemically processed red seaweed, and that's what makes it bad. It turns it carcinogenic. So which is cancer. Carcinogenic means cancer, probable cancer causing. You can't win. It's seaweed, right? All right. Cooking tips. Okay, we did that. Stevia. If using honey or maple syrup, cut the amount in half. So if I have a recipe that I really like, so say a paleo chocolate chip cookie recipe that has 3/4 of a cup of, or usually it's 1 cup of maple syrup in the recipe, I will cut it in half or even less. So my taste buds are trained not to really like sweet things anymore because I've cut out sugar so much. You can actually get away with a lot less. Maybe put in a little applesauce and applesauce in place of it. So
I was
you
gonna
have a
say,
little bit.
because that would change the chemistry if you
Yeah.
take too much oil.
Mm-hmm. It does, and you have to be careful if you're using coconut flour and you reduce liquid. You're going to have a little bit of an issue because the ratios are a certain way. And if you are cooking with coconut flour, another tip is make sure you let your batter sit. Once everything's mixed together, just make it sit for at least 5 minutes, and it won't be that gritty, weird texture.
Yeah, I have
Really
not had any
disgusting.
luck with
I
cooking.
Yeah.
love coconut flour.
Yeah.
That's the trick, just
Yeah,
5 minutes?
you have to let it sit for
After
at
you
least
mix
5
everything,
minutes.
yeah.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Because it's so fibrous that it has to actually absorb all of the stuff, the liquids, and it
Try it.
softens it up. If you don't, then
Complained
it's
to my
all
husband, I was
gritty.
like, I can't do anything with this coconut flour.
I know, it's
I
such
waste
a
a lot
joke.
of money with coconut flour.
It's expensive
What am I supposed to do
too.
with this now?
I know. Coconut milk or almond milk. You can use cashew milk. You can use rice milk. Cashew cheese. If you ever made that, I've made cashew cream cheese before. It's actually pretty good. There's a recipe on my website. It's old, so the picture's disgusting. But before I knew how to take pictures of like a blueberry pie. It's sweetened with stevia, and it is with I made it with cashew cheese. It was really good. I made it for community group a couple years ago. Going back up to the stevia, the best ones to use are the liquids because it's an herbal extract. You kind of want to stay away from as much as you can the white powdered stevia because stevia is not white, it's green. So they have to make it white somehow. So they put something in to make it white. It's not, that's super processed. So you have to watch.
Dextrose in some of those too. right?
Dextrose, yeah. So if you're sensitive to corn, you have to watch the backs of the packages because dextrose is corn. So then you're going to be sensitive to that. So just watch those packets. It's better just to you can get the flavored ones. They have the vanilla ones, the vanilla extract mixed in. So those are good. Monk fruit's also acceptable. So I did this. Monk fruit's kind of new on the scene, but monk fruit is a really good substitute for sugar. Low glycemic. Huh? Starbucks uses it now? Starbucks, okay.
Oh, do they?
And there's alternatives for every recipe. So you can it's hard to convert your own. So if you're not familiar with cooking with these alternative flours, find recipes that are already there rather than experimenting because it's not one for one. And we had a grain-free cooking workshop that's you can actually go on and see on the Facebook page. It's taped. I think I did it separate. You can see the ratios and how to kind of figure that out, but it's not one for one. Another flour that's becoming popular is cassava flour or cassava, however you want to say cassava. It's the yucca root. And that one, it has to me that has a kind of a weird taste, the flour does itself, but you can use that one for one. And most gluten-free flours, you can use one for one. But you can't use almond flour, usually one for one. It's a little bit different. And coconut flour, you definitely can. Yes.
We get the chips with cassava
Yeah.
in it, and they're at Mom's,
Mhm.
a couple different flavors.
Yeah, we have those up here too.
But coconut sugar, we both have used that. The
Mhm.
coconut sugar, is that?
It's lower on the glycemic index, so it's better. then like organic cane sugar would be better. But you still want to try to use less than what the recipe calls for. That way, you know, when it's spread out through the servings, you're just getting a little bit. So.
Organic cane sugar is better than
Coconut sugar is better than organic.
Oh, okay.
cane.
I was like, wait.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
I've
so if you
noticed
have
that
sugars.
the coconut sugar is a lot sweeter. So
It
I
is.
made muffins the other day and I
less.
used the same amount of sugar and I was like,
Mhm.
whoa, I should have.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I did a little less. I was like, I probably should have just cut those in
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, you can use
and
less.
I like sweet stuff, but it was like, whoa.
Yeah, same thing if you've seen a sucanat, Rapadura sugar, sucanat. It's sugar that hasn't been processed at all, so it's right like directly from the cane, the sugar cane, and they just dry it and powder. It's dried and powdered almost. That is super sweet too because it's pure. So you can use a lot less, but it has all of the minerals and the enzymes in it that processed sugar doesn't have. So if you're gonna do sugar, just try to get. And raw honey has enzymes and those types of things, and maple syrup has some vitamins and minerals in it. So there's alternatives. But sugar is sugar. So no matter what kind of sugar you use, if your immune system is compromised, it's going to affect you. And if you eat it, it's still going to lower your immune system. So you just have to watch. I mean, you can't avoid sugar completely, but you can make better choices as far as sugar. Okay, so that is all I have for my Have a Healthy Holiday talk. So you can take the handouts with you. And if you have any questions, anybody have any questions about any of those things before we do our little giveaways?
I just wanted to ask about cheeses. Do you recommend cheeses? I mean, I can't eat them because of the rennet. I found organic cheeses that are vegetable enzymes and cheese cultures that are derived from plants.
From plants? Yeah, if you can tolerate dairy, then you can. I find that a lot of people have trouble with dairy.
Okay.
Dairy turns the sugar in the body, so there's a the glucose issue, insulin issue. And then there's the alternative cheeses, like the almond milk cheeses and those, which are, I don't know, it's like the people, I get mixed reviews on them. Some people really love them, and some people can't stand them. But it's always better to use it like an organic raw cheese versus pasteurized cheese.
Yeah, I did find Organic Valley raw cheese.
Yeah. With the vegetable rennet in it?
Yes.
Cool. That's good.
I haven't eaten it yet.
Okay.
Saved it for Christmas.
Yeah, for Christmas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mom's has some smoked Gouda and Swiss slices, stuff like that, but it's I think it has potato starch in it. It doesn't have any soy or
Okay.
not even nuts in it. But I could see.
Okay. Is it almond milk based or just potato based?
Sure, I think it's just potato.
Interesting.
On the one.
Did you try it? Is it good?
Yeah, the cube. I got some that I cut up into cubes. Yeah. It's
Okay.
With the rice crackers.
Interesting. Okay, cool. You want to shut the camera off for me?
It smells really strong out in the moment.
So we are going to turn the camera off so we can do our giveaway. So have a happy, healthy holiday, Facebook.